one day I got a phone call that changed my life and changed the lives of many people. The call came in 2003, and it was from a detective of the New York City Police Department. It resulted in what became a 9-year litigation that involved our first client morphed into 10,000 clients, and it became an epic David versus Goliath legal battle about the dust that was at ground zero and the injuries that it caused during the 9-month cleanup after 9/11. The dust was created from everything in the towers. The towers collapsed. If you look at this building right here, if you think about it collapsing and everything turning into dust except the structural steel, you'll better understand or start to understand what the components were of that dust. And the scientific community didn't have a clue, and we're talking 2004, 5, and 6, of what injuries this dust was causing. But we saw it in our population. There was an hysteria. And the hysteria from the press and from the public and from my clients was based upon the one burning question. It's like, we know we lost 3,000 people in the towers and in the planes on 9/11. And we know that that's the handiwork of Al-Qaeda. But the real question people had was, from 9/12 and on, from the dust, how many more are we going to lose? How deep is Al-Qaeda's wounds going to be upon us? We saw some really odd things, and we started documenting it. And I had the database that was just that no hospitals had, because we had 10,000 clients, but the hospitals didn't have them. People went to all different hospitals. So we literally had the database, and were able to manipulate the data and study the data to see what the trends were. 40,000 people came to the scene, firefighters, police, construction workers, city agency workers, volunteer, utility, looking if there was anybody left alive. The big question was, did they have respiratory protection? And unfortunately, they didn't. So the first case was the call that we got. It was a detective. He had leukemia, acute myeloid leukemia, which we researched and found there's a relationship between that and benzene exposure, and benzene was in the jet fuel. So we took the case. Another phone call came in from his partner who had kidney disease. The word spread. Newspapers did articles about us, and it ultimately morphed into thousands and then 10,000. We found that there was $1 billion that actually Congress set aside to the city of New York to protect them from this lawsuit. The duty in New York is to provide respiratory protection in a construction site. It's an actually simple case. We thought we had an absolutely clear-cut case. We thought we could not lose this case because of that. The big defense, which we didn't realize when we first took the case, and we realized much later, was that there's this archaic New York State statute called the State Defense Emergency Act. Essentially says that there's immunity. You can't sue a contractor or an entity if they're in good faith complying with a rule, regulation, law, or order issued pursuant to the State Defense Emergency Act. We had to show the city that you didn't do your job and the contractors. Well, you just asked the press. We didn't have to prove it. The press went on a rampage on what the city's failures were. Our federal judge refused to dismiss it. It goes up to the Federal Appeals Court. They went after the city and the contractors like I've never seen before. Settlement talks started. We had to accumulate data. It was a massive process. 10,000 people you've got to create a settlement fund for. We had to take this information and correlate it and try and create some type of algorithm where we could come up with how badly is this person injured. We ended up negotiating a lump sum settlement. So the concept was we're going to negotiate one number and we're going to divide the number up fairly amongst all 10,000 people. The judge decides, I'm going to have a fairness hearing. I'm going to see what the public says. So settlement response, judge rejects the settlement. What does he say? I mean, it's something I actually liked what he said. It's not enough money. We go back to the negotiation table. We reduce our fees. The city and the contractors come up with another $50 million. New deal at $712 million. Port Authority and other defendants that we had causes against added another $100 million. So the total settlement is $816 million. The sad story is there was no option for these people. You can't go to trial in 10,000 cases. They essentially had to do the deal. We ended up getting 99% point, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5%. that actually opt in for the deal. So, last slide. Many questions remain. Fascinating stuff. I'm going to start writing about this because there's a lot of lessons to be learned. I'm a firm believer that you look at circumstances of life as teaching opportunities, and certainly this case is one of those. Thank you very much.